Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream. It is Thursday, November 8th, and this has been a cloudy week here so far, and it's cloudy again today, and it's cold. So I have hot tea this afternoon. It's not really cold enough to snow, but it's in the forecast for, I think, tomorrow or tonight, like the wee hours. So, but we live in northwestern Wisconsin, so we know that it is inevitable that it's going to get bitter cold and that we will have snow at some point. So today is all about the card draw, of course. And what I'm going to do before we actually get started is I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to like and share the broadcast so that those people who are wanting to join us have the opportunity to, right? Yep, that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't take long. It takes me just a bit of a pause, and so we'll do that. I'm going to share it to my news feed and just say hi to my friends and let them know I'm live streaming. And then to please join me. Because we have 3 cards to cover today. 3. That's a lot. And I'm going to share it over to the Star Nation's Radio Network closed group in the Academy. So we'll do that too. And I'm live streaming. There we go. And then please join me. There. Network in the Academy. There, that's done. That's done. And so, hey, Julie's here. Hello, Julie. Good to see you in the chat. Good afternoon. And Jackie is here. And I could have sworn I saw Elise in the chat room too. Or did she duck out? I could have sworn I saw her name. I'm going to check here. Yep, Elise. I see her name there. Hello, Elise. Could have sworn I saw your name. So this afternoon, we've got something special going on here at my house. Paul and I decided that we were going to hire a trainer to help work with George, to help us with getting the basic stuff down, right? Yeah. And so Laura from her business is called King's Creatures, is going to be here this afternoon to work with George for an hour. And and so we're going to have her on board maybe once or twice a month. And George, yes, it is for George, but guess who else gets trained? Paul and I. Yeah, we made that decision. Let's see, I think she visited on Tuesday morning, right? On Tuesday morning, and then we had the show on Tuesday evening with Leslie Serenesi. And it was after the show with Leslie that Paul and I were talking about the training piece. And so we thought it might be a good idea because George will be able to go to puppy school, the daycare place, until he's 6 months old. And that's attached to our vet's office. And then after that, we'll have to find a different outlet for him to have playtime with other four-leggeds, right? So in the meantime, we thought maybe getting the commands down so that he's safe would be a good thing, right? And also, Paul's been working with him at walking on a leash. I haven't done that yet. When I walk up here with him, he's on a lead, but I let the lead go and he's just kind of running around, and we run around the woods. So it's not like we're working on walking on with a leash. Yeah. Elise says, I was here but lost you for a second. You still want the jacket. The jacket. I know. We're gonna get these made. I promise. We'll find a good quality hoodie, zip up, of course, and somebody to sew the embroidery on, right? Yeah, we're changing up the logo a little bit. That's why it's kind of in a holding pattern right now. Um, yeah, we're changing it up a bit and going to get that started. Um, I think it's on my calendar to have everything put together by the end of December. And so we go into the new year, right, with a not a brand new logo. It's more of like a tweaked logo. So, yeah. Elise is also saying, watching the horrific shooting in California, so sad. I heard bits and pieces about it. I've been working on the magazine, and yeah, so I saw notifications from BuzzFeed News pop up on my phone, and yeah, it is sad, and yeah, and that's one of the things that we can do, as energy workers when we see those things come across on the news or in the bulletin, that we can say a prayer and we can send angels there um, to help and to raise the vibration so that things calm down, and those that have crossed over, that they've got assistance there, and that they're loved and they're protected. Yeah, we can do that. And also to send angels to their family members too, because their family members are probably in shock. Um, the grieving process maybe has started, but generally speaking, they're probably in shock because it just happened, right? It just happened. So, yeah. That gets me back on my soapbox, right? About we just finished up our election, and it's good. If you voted, thank you so much for voting. Um, and now And now it's up to us, the people, to keep track of our elected officials, not fall back into complacency, and hold them accountable for their actions, both negative and positive. Right, when they actually represent us and do their job and represent all the people, right? That we should be talking them up and saying thank you. But when they're not taking um, care of us and doing what they said they were going to do, and voting to protect corporations or not protecting grandmother Earth, that we hold them accountable for that. And so it also relates to gun violence, right? Um, we need some we need some elected officials with steel rods as backbones to take on the lobbyists and to fight for us, right, and not the corporations. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox. You guys know how I feel about that. But Elise, you do raise a really good um, point about California and the shootings. Is that um, we can say prayers, and we can make the request that the angels of the most appropriate realm in order to be sent to California where the shootings are happening, to take care of the families and the EMT workers and um, the police, of course, and also so that those who lost their lives, they have assistance in crossing over and going to the light. As Carl Franklin would say, is to go through the tunnel of light. And yeah, so we can certainly pray for that and ask for that to occur. Um, yeah, and it also makes us feel a little better, right? That it's still a horrific and sad situation. Um, but from here, wherever you're at, if you're not even in California, that you have assisted in a small way, right? Yeah, yeah. Hey, Rochelle just popped in. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you in the chat. So, um, the cards that were drawn today, this morning, I had to go, really? To my spiritual team, really? We're going to cover the cards again? So it must be for this set of cards to come up in this configuration. Um, we're really being nudged by spirit to really take a look at those outdated patterns, right? Those things that no longer serve us. Because here we go. This is the first card. We've had him before. Winter. We've had the wolf before. Take care of your needs. Take care of your needs. And if you were in the chat room last night for Polly Joe's show, Soul Connections, and were there for the healing meditation, you know how powerful that meditation was. There was moved last night. A lot of healing that took place. A lot of releasing took place. And, oh my goodness, Polly Joe, what a trooper. God. She provided such a service last night. She pulled 49 cards for people last night. 49. That's a record so far. 49. Yeah. Hey, Rochelle. That was a lot, isn't it? Julie said, re-voted yes on building new high school in the Dells. Our old high school will be the middle school. Really? Gosh. So that's the second new high school, isn't it? Because now, Julie, I haven't been back to the high school, so I'm kind of not really informed very well. Because our whole high school that we graduated from, I thought they had built a new one to replace that one, and that was some years ago. So I can understand needing an update, and and sometimes renovating doesn't do the trick because there's so much that needs to be changed that they're better off starting over. Yeah. And so, I'm sure that there was a thing about the property taxes and all that, but hey, I'd rather pay for that than to pay for some elected officials' flight to some country or to some conference that they can pay. And when they're billionaires, they certainly can pay their own way, right? Yeah. So that's good. That's good. Hey, Stephanie's here too. Yay for Stephanie. So here's the card that came. It's winter, and take care of your needs. Take care of your needs. And I was just saying that if you were in the chat last night for Polly Joe's show on Wednesday night, Soul Connections, and if you were there for the healing meditation, that was pretty powerful, And I'm there every Wednesday night to begin with because I monitor all the shows just in case they need help with something, that I'm available. And so so I was actually working on my own healing stuff last night, and so I could feel the energy and how it was flowing. But I was really not just amazed, but it was like I don't know. I can't even think of a good word for it in the moment. Let's see what Polly Joe did when she pulled 49 cards. Do you remember? If you were there, she held up all the cards that she had drawn, and there was quite a handful of cards, 49 of them. And she told me later after the show that she only had 5 cards left from that deck. Yeah, that was a lot of cards. Yeah. And Polly Joe is awesome, Elise. Yes, she is. I totally agree. Julie said, still our old high school, but they remodeled it. There will be the first new school since 1953. Really? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it's sorely needed then, most definitely. Stephanie says, Colorado finally made slavery and debtors' prison illegal. Good for them. Colorado is really kind of on the, I don't want to call it cutting edge, but they really, they take care of business, I think, over in Colorado. Because why would we even need slavery on the books anymore, or debtors' prison? Yeah, so good for them. That's a good thing. Elisa says, did you see the post where a deaf hiker fell 500 feet and a white wolf came to help her? I only saw that much online. No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that, but wow. Yeah. Well, Stephanie's saying, yeah, they did that in Colorado. They did it at a constitutional level. Holy smokes. That is no small task. No small task. For any state to change their constitution, they've worked on this for years, years. It doesn't happen overnight, and there has to be so much debate over it, and yeah, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So good for them. They were pretty persistent. Persistence is a good thing. Yeah, and that white wolf, wow. And white, there's a lot of white animals that have never been seen before that are on the planet right now. And there's a lot of prophecies around that. Of course, the white buffalo calf, right? That's a huge one. But there's the white lions and the white tigers and the white giraffe, the white alligator, the white possum, the white cardinals, or was that robins? It was white robin. The white skunk, of course, the white deer, the white moose. And I think those are the ones I remember anyway. Most recently, right? I would say within the last, 5 or 6 years, something like that. Yeah, so, what we know about wolf, right, is that, and we've talked about wolf before, is that they're really based in a community. The lone wolf kind of statement is really a misnomer. When you do see a lone wolf, it's usually it's a young male who is trying to start his own pack, trying to find his own mate, and so they're not alone very long before they find a mate and start their own pack. And so they're very community-based animals. They take care of each other, and the females actually do most of the hunting. They're very intelligent. They have their own communication, of course. They strategically hunt, and all of our relatives are needed. We know here in Wisconsin that the wolf population and the deer population are symbiotic. When we didn't have a very good wolf population in the state, our deer population was, completely out of balance. There were so many. And then nature is going to take care of itself, right? And then we started hearing and seeing about the wasting disease and that sort of thing. So nature is going to step in and correct and balance it. It's us two-leggeds who think that we know what we're doing and trying to manage the population, right? Just recently, in the last couple of years anyway, we had rather large wolf packs on Fort McCoy, which is about 10 miles from here. And the two-leggeds, they decided we were going to manage that population, and they did go in to kill many of those wolf members, those packs, and because there were so many. Well, that's because the deer population was so high. The prey, they were being well fed, and so if we would just leave them alone, they would balance out their own population. That's my 2 cents anyway. So the wolves are very intelligent. They communicate. There's a story that my mom tells about a Native American man who was teasing a wolf who was captive in a zoo, and throwing things at the wolf and that kind of thing. Not very pleasant thing to do to another animal. But anyway, what happened is that the story goes is that this wolf was communicating, howling a lot. And Yeah. And so across a few states, the man went home and he was actually cornered by a pack of wolves. And, and the story goes is that the wolves communicated across all those miles. And is it a true story? There's probably some truth to it. But that it shows us um, that the wolf population, the wolf families, take care of each other. They really do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Elise says, we'll try to find out more information about that. Okay. Well, yes, you are a white grandmother. Oh my gosh. Hey, Anne's here. Hello, Anne. Good afternoon. Elise said, sorry, my mind's a terrible thing. All right, so let's find out what Kyle has to say about wolf and how it relates to the flow of the energy today. Right, I just have to get to the right page here. All right, so the message is: do everything you need to be at your best. Do everything that you need to be at your best. Then move beyond your fears and your limitations. Okay, so when I read that this morning, I was thinking, okay, we're on the same theme that we were on yesterday. That spirit, spirit was talking to us about letting go of old patterns that no longer serve us, right? And it's more than just our DNA. Sometimes it's things that we've learned from family, from our society that no longer serve us, and so we're letting go of that and making room, energetic room for something new, right? And so today, Spirit is telling us is to take care of our needs, to do everything that we need to do to be at our best, and then move beyond our fears and our limitations. So if you haven't identified what those old patterns are to release and to heal, you might want to sit down and do that and start doing the work that it does for that healing to take place, right? And and it's going to be up to you. There's so many ways to be able to do that. What do they say? There's many paths up the mountain, right? And so whatever your belief system is to do that, to identify what those old patterns are, what's holding you back from having joy and peace in your life, from living the kind of life that you really want, right? To do your soul work, um, and find that method that fits you the best, right? So last night, we had the opportunity to do that in the meditation that Polly Joe led. But if even if you're Catholic, is to go in and work with your priest, or or with one of the nuns, whatever it is that is meaningful to you. I encourage you to do that, because we're all needed. Everything that we're here to do individually, we're here to help collectively, right? And so our responsibility is our own soul growth. And with that, it's the healing of those emotional and mental traumas. And those old patterns are part of that. It could be the mental part, right? Could be. Could also be the emotional, for all I know. So it's important. And I think that's why we keep getting these cards, is that because the intention, right, is what is the energy that's most important for us to know about today, for our highest good and the highest good of all. And so it's important then that this energy about doing everything that you need to be at your best, whatever that is, whatever you have to heal, whatever you have to do with your diet, or let's just say your fuel intake, no matter what that is. As long as you're healthy and taking care of your physical body, right? Yeah. Taking care of your heart is what I just heard. All right, so let's see. It says the winter card features a wolf, one of few animals that stay active all year round. Wolves know what it's like to work alone or thrive within a pack. So if you feel you need to go it alone at this time, know that the wolf medicine will help you move beyond your insecurities and relax in your own space. You have an opportunity to move beyond your fears. Although you may feel in the dark, get comfortable with being in the unknown and trust that the light within you will sustain you through what may seem a challenging process. Ask yourself what you need to do to feel supported and alive. So ask yourself, what is it that I need to feel supported and not just living but thriving? Not just living but thriving. Because at a soul level, we already know that. It's getting clear on it, right? Getting that message. It also says, you may uncover something from your past that you have buried deep. Know that when you unearth it and shed light on it, you create space for miracles. See, when I read that sentence, I thought, okay, we're on a theme here. It's a carryover from yesterday, right? Hey, Anne and Minnie. So good to see you guys in the chat. Here, I'll show you the first card that we got. It's winter. Take care of your needs. And the wolf is representing that. Yeah, don't you just like that drawing of the wolf? Yeah. So here we go with something that may be uncovered from your past that's been hidden very deep. And so we're being asked to go to the root of whatever it is that needs to be healed. And if it is that old pattern, then we have to go to the root of that and find out, where did it start? How did it begin? Have you ever done this? Because, looking at the people who are in the chat, I know that there are many energy workers there. And have you ever followed a stream of energy back to its beginning? It's kind of like, when we're cutting cords or are taking hooks out, emotional hooks out, and energetically, right? Following that cord back to who it belongs to on the other side of that. You can do the same thing with these old patterns, right? And you can ask your spiritual team to help you with that, to show you how, and to help you to get to the root, to understand it at its root level, so that when you heal it and release it, it's as complete as possible. Yeah. And always add the word grace in there, okay? Because, you don't want to be thrown into a healing crisis. Because sometimes we, in our zeal is a good word. That's actually a really good Scrabble word too. Is that sometimes we want to get it done like now, right? And sometimes it happens too fast, and we can throw ourselves into a healing crisis, meaning we could end up being sick with the flu, and or you may have muscle aches or joint aches or something like that, because we're healing it too quickly. We're removing it too quickly, and so you want to do it with as much grace as possible, right? And the understanding be as complete as possible, so that when you actually do the release, or the healing of it to remove that block or that interference, that it's as clean as possible. That makes sense? Yeah. So the question was, have you ever followed the energy stream, let's call it that, or the energy cord, back from if you're cutting cords, or if it's a situation and you want to understand, where did this energy start? How did it begin? And following that energy stream back to its source. For those in the chat, have you ever experienced that, done that? Because what we're being asked right now through this card, the essence of this card, I believe, is to take care of our needs. In other words, allow what's coming to the surface, whatever that was buried deep, or those old patterns, as they come to the surface, because the truth always comes to the surface, is to allow it to come to the surface and to remove it or heal it or release it, let it go at its source. So it's as complete as possible. So really taking care of your needs. Because when we do that, right, we're making that energetic room. All right. I'm going to check my phone here. Because sometimes what happens is the messages end up stopping for some reason. And I don't understand why. I don't know if it's the Facebook or what it is, but sometimes that happens. And turn down my sound. Okay. Yep. See, I knew it. There's a lot here. All right. Scrolling. Yeah. So Roberta's saying, yes, I have a naturopath that follows many generations back for illnesses or stuck energy. That's good. That's good. And Stephanie rejoined us. Yeah, that's really good. If you have assistance with that, and if you don't, you can still do it on your own. You just need to ask your spiritual team for help, and be in meditation for it, right? And allow that to happen. You could do it on Wednesday nights. I don't, if you're available on a Wednesday night and you're there for Polly Joe's show, because you're working with your spiritual team, you could go in with the intention that this is something that I want to work on, and to be able to do that, right? And with the collective energy, I think that's what makes it really powerful. And what the feeling that I get when you're in that healing space is that we're interconnected anyway, right? But I think it also depends on who's there, because we're in soul groups. And so we could possibly be helping each other with that as well. And so pretty good, I think. So here's the second card. The second card. Look who showed up again. Great teacher. Learn from spiritual experiences. We just had this yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. I just love that flower of life in the background. Yeah. And so just to refresh our memories, right? Because we just had this. And I just got to get to it here. Great teacher. It says, learn from spiritual experiences. Know that what is happening around you is divinely inspired. Learn from your current experiences, then share them with others. All right. So if we're being encouraged, we're being nudged to allow what has been buried deep to come to the surface, to look at those patterns that no longer serve us, to let it go, to release it, to heal it. And this is telling us that it's in divine time. It's divinely inspired. So it's for our highest good, right? And that we can learn from the current experience. That current experience could be in the whole thing, the identifying it, because sometimes maybe we've forgotten about it consciously. We buried it so deep. Subconsciously, we know it's there, but consciously we might not. But our whole journey with that is the identification of it, maybe following that energy stream back to the source, so that when we go in to heal and remove it, that we do it as cleanly as possible. Then what happens? What was your experience with that? And then what happened? What did you experience the days following that? Right? Because then you're also into the integration of that soul growth. Journaling it is a good thing, I believe, because we learn so much from each other in when we tell our stories. Now we know that it's not going to be exactly the same for someone else, but your story may be encouraging others. It could be supporting others. It could be voicing something for someone else who has an inability to use their own voice, right? So you're literally helping them to start healing, just by telling your story, by sharing it. So it's no small thing that we're doing here when we turn around to face those outdated, no longer useful patterns, because you're looking at your belief systems at that point. And whatever it is that you may have buried deep within yourself is coming up. And so rather than running and hiding from it, you're actually going to turn and look at it and face it, right? And it takes courage to do that. But we're actually being asked to do that. Why? Why? So that you have fuller access to your gifts, so that you have the ability to take in more information from spirit. Yeah. So you're honing your abilities to heal, to be the best healer that you possibly, if that's your path. If you're a writer, to be the best writer that you can possibly be. Um, whatever it is, however you express your gifts, that's what we're being asked to do. Because when we do that, we're living through our hearts, we're raising our vibration, we're able to hold the frequency of that vibration for longer periods of time. And so when we're coming from it from a place of love, we're able to hold on to that frequency for longer periods of time. And so we're literally raising the vibration, raising the frequency of no matter where we're at, right? Yeah. So Stephanie is saying, I have to watch the rest as replay. Okay. Have to go grab Ben for speech. All righty. But, question mark, is there a specific person or book that can be used to coach therapists? I have had a lot of issues with counselors not being able to wrap their minds around my faith structure and spiritual practices. That is a really good question. And so I'm going to open it up to everybody there in the chat, right? And even if you're watching the recorded, if you have any resources, written resources that can be shared, titles and author, ISBN numbers, that's really helpful too. Helpful for Stephanie to help bring her son's educational team up to speed. Yeah. Gonna have to think about that one a little bit, Stephanie. To coach a therapist. Terry Ruel is the one who probably jumps into my mind. We could also ask Nicole Fix too, if she has any references or resources written resources that could be used. They're the two therapists that are part of Star Nation's community, and they are a wealth of information. So why don't we at least start there? And of course, anybody who has information who's in the chat, please share it in the comments, and that way we all have the opportunity to take a look at it too. So we'll do the best we can, Stephanie, okay? I'll send a message out to Terry's brother just walked on, so she might be a bit busy with family stuff right now. I'll send her a message, and when she can, she'll get back to us. But I'll also send a message out to Nicole. Oh, hey, Connie's here. Good afternoon, Connie. All right, so this is the second card that came, the Great Teacher. And it says, learn from spiritual experience, right? Okay. So this card can represent a teacher in your life or the great teacher within. Either way, it shows that you have dedicated a lot of time, effort, and energy to understanding yourself and the world. You're having a spiritual experience at this time, gaining a greater awareness of what you need to do in order to grow. And that's the one sentence that jumped out at me we did talk about it yesterday, but that one sentence I think is really meaningful, because whenever cards come up multiple times, day after day, obviously Spirit is trying to get an important message across to us, right? And so I really do believe it has to do with that healing process that we just talked about. Because I'm going to read that sentence again. You are having spiritual experiences at this time, gaining a greater awareness of what you need to do in order to grow. There's a great chance that you've been having any challenges recently. You've surmounted them and allowed them to be vehicles to lessons that are helping your spiritual connection. If you feel that you've received messages from heaven or the universe recently, this card is confirmation that these have indeed been holy experiences. So I think the great teacher within, is that when we actually begin to do the work for the healing process, is to call on that great teacher within. That's on your spiritual committee. That's your higher self. That's your soul self. That's directly connected to the Creator. There's no middle person, right? Directly connected. Direct download is what I'm getting. Direct download. So, is to do that. Gaining greater awareness of what you need to do in order to grow. I like it. I do. Roberta saying, Cheryl Richardson is an awesome life coach with Hay House. Yep, she is. I love her compassion and gentleness. She has written many books. Okay, is this in reference to Stephanie's request, I think, right? Yeah. So, Roberta, do you have one of Cheryl's books that is meaningful to you, that because Cheryl really, it has been quite prolific in her writing. So is there any one of the books that kind of you would know quite well, that you could actually put the title in the comments? Yeah, because Cheryl does have a deep compassion, that's for sure. Yeah, because Stephanie's a single mom, and she her son Ben is autistic, and so she, just to take care of Ben, is a full-time job. Any single mom, it's a full-time job. Now, I'm not a parent. I'm only watching. I'm the witness, right? And so watching these moms get done as much as they get done when they have a child. When you add a special needs child, or a child who needs needs their education brought to them in a different way. She may not have the time, Roberta, to track down all the titles and all the books. But if there's one that you think that you feel could be the most helpful, that would be a great help. Yeah. Okay. So when you put those two cards together, this first card and the second card, you're taking care of your needs. You're allowing whatever has been buried deep to come to the surface. You're looking at your belief systems and patterns that no longer serve you and letting those go, healing that, understanding the life lesson behind it, and then letting it go. It's going to free up energetic space for whatever's coming new. And the great teacher within has appeared again today. So they're really trying to, Spirit is really trying to get the point across here, that you already have the knowledge inside of you. And to learn from that spiritual experience. All right. We're doing pretty good on time. We have 3 cards. A lot. Here's the third one. Animal guardian. We've had her before. It says, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. Trust your intuition. Trust that part of you that knows. And in the reading on this one, Kyle talks about our inner animal and how that part of us already knows and has full access to the information. And so we just have to trust when we get a message, when we get a synchronicity, when we get a symbol or a sign, that we're paying attention, right? And taking it all in. All right, so let's find out about the animal guardian and see what part of that relates. So the message is, trust the powerful animal spirit within to learn more about yourself and your talents. So whatever this is that we have buried deep is coming to the surface, or maybe for some people it's already at the surface, and you're looking at how to heal it and to let it go so that you have that spiritual growth from it, freeing up that space for whatever is news coming in. That we already, it says a spirit within to learn more about yourself and your talents. So we're going to learn a lot more about ourselves. How about this? We're going to know and learn a lot more about ourselves in our new vibration and frequency. We covered this a few days ago, that our gifts and our tools, our talents, our skills, that we may have become really comfortable with. We know them quite well. That in your new frequency and vibration, you may be using them slightly different, more enhanced, maybe doing something in ways that you've never done before. And you know what that feels like? We get very anxious around the unknown. I think that's what this is what this is really about, right? Because when we let go of those things that no longer serve us, we're freeing up our energy that we spent directing it toward whatever that is. And if it's something that was buried deep within us, we've spent a lot of energy suppressing it, keeping it down. And so when it comes to the surface, to allow it to come to the surface so it can be healed and it can be released, freeing up that space and freeing up your energy to put it towards something else, like your soul contract, your soul growth. Does that make sense? It does to me. Because we're going to need our energy allocation maybe differently, applied differently to our gifts and our skills and our talents in our new frequency and vibration. Yeah, I think that's what this is about. It's been 2 days now. It's been pretty intense. The spirit getting their point across about this. It says that when this card arises, it's important to connect with how you really feel, how you want to feel, and what you really need. Take the time to connect with your animal energy and express it naturally. That's what it feels like to me anyway. Yeah, is to allow whatever that is that we've been allocating our energy toward, that we don't need it to do that anymore. What we need to do is heal it and release it, let it go. Learn the life lesson around it. Get the spiritual growth from it, so that we can use our energy, allocate our energy toward our gifts and our talents and our skills, to learn the next layer of those in our higher vibration and frequency. Yeah, we get to be of service in a whole different way. Roberta's saying, really nice. Yes, it has. And to stop second guessing. So what I get from that card is animals don't do it. That's right. Two-leggeds. We're the only ones that try to be something different than what we are. Right? I watch George. George enjoys being a dog. He does dog really well. And he doesn't try to be anything else or be any other way. And they don't spend their energy trying to cover something up or to be differently than what they are naturally. You're right, Roberta. I agree with you. Totally agree with you. So that's what I think that this card draw is all about. Yeah. And didn't we also cover procrastination? So what we're being asked to do is stop procrastinating. Stop setting it aside and say, I'll do that later, or stepping through the fear of it, right? Calling on your spiritual team to assist you. And so I think that we have spirit telling us here what we need to do is to get the healing done. Allow the truth to come to the surface. Heal whatever is underneath that. Yeah, I think so. So, I say this every day. Whatever felt good to you, resonated with you from the information, is to pick it up, hold it, embrace it. See how the energy unfolds for you around it, and how it can be useful to you, right? If it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about that. Just let it go. You can let it lie, okay? You don't have to do anything with it if you don't want to. You can be the messenger if you choose. Share it with somebody else that you think might enjoy the conversation or maybe the information they've been looking for. You could do that. But I think that we have right in front of us a way to be able to bring forth our gifts even more, and to have fuller access application of our gifts into our life. And that our intuition, the information coming through, is that we have more access to that. That's what I think. So tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing a free mini class at the Star Nations Academy closed group here on Facebook. We're going to be talking about dowsing, talk about tools. And I'm going to talk about tools, and what we discovered today in this card read is that looking at our tools, and how we're using them in a different way than what we may have used them in the past. And dowsing is one of those tools, right? A lot of us douse. So if you're available, come on over and join us. It's going to be more of a conversation like we do here, but we're actually going to be talking about dowsing specifically, and those kinds of tools. Okay, yeah, that's 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back. It's going to be broadcasted from the closed group. Okay, so if you're not a member of the closed group, just jump on and go to the Star Nations Academy closed group and ask to join, and I'll take care of it this afternoon, so you can come in this evening. All right. So thank you for being with me this afternoon for this live stream. I enjoyed it. I like being with you guys. When I'm not here, I miss you. So enjoy the rest of your day, your rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, for the daily live stream and card information. Okay? All right. Ba Mamina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.